Mom takes down the Hoa from the inside, by user Quiet Fang Girl. My neighborhood does not have a homeowners association. At least, not anymore. When my parents first moved in, my older sibling maybe 2 years old and with me as a little glowworm, there was an Hoa. They took money from the neighborhood in exchange for their services. At first, and for quite a while, my parents just kind of shrugged it off. The Hoa shoveled the snow off the streets in winter and dealt with trash collection, so they were doing something worthwhile, right? Ha! No. The city controlled the snowplows and garbage trucks, not the Hoa. But still, there was the illusion of effort. And besides, one summer they decided to contact a company to plant new trees all over the neighborhood. The fact that the company was owned by the son of the head of the Hoa was totally coincidental. The trees were the beginning of the end for the Hoa. Why? Well, my grandma on my dad's side was visiting when they came around to plant the trees. My grandma, who is a certified master gardener. And so she stared through the windows of our house as the guys planting the trees just dropped the saplings on the grass. Still with their roots inside the bag they came in. No holes dug, no holes cut, just a bagged sapling lying on the grass like a pathetic and sad stick. The saplings laid there all night. No one came back to actually do their job and plant them. My master gardener, Grandma mentioned offhand that those saplings were going to die unless they got in the soil. And something clicked in my mom's head. She was paying the Hoa money, actual money, every month, while both she and my dad worked, taking care of 2 very little kids, sending us to daycare and preschool and arranging babysitters and feeding us, and the homeowners association was just going to pull this half-assed bullshit instead of do what she's paying them for? No. No fucking way. So she showed up to the head of the Hoa's house and basically demanded that the trees get planted properly like she's apparently paying for them to. The head of the Hoa, so excited for someone actually caring about the neighborhood, made their second mistake. They asked if Mom wanted to join the Hoa. She agreed. The trees were planted, but most didn't make it. My grandma was right. First things first, my mom showed up to the next Hoa meeting. There were like 5 people there. No wonder they asked Mom to join, they desperately needed the people. So Mom looked at this collection of white people, herself included, who weren't even paying money to the Hoa like the rest of the neighborhood. All the contractors the Hoa called in were close relatives of other Hoa members and weren't paid by the Hoa. After all, they're family. So my mom started digging. She spent pretty much a full summer taking down the Hoa before she had to go back to teaching in the fall. With me carted along after her and my sibling old enough to be in school or daycare, she dug through the years of paperwork detailing the Hoa's financial situation. And she found something extremely enlightening. The Hoa didn't actually do anything. Well, they didn't do anything to benefit the community. Everything they claimed to do was either covered by the individual homeowner or by the city itself. So they were collecting money from all the neighborhood residents under false pretenses, and actually they weren't even supposed to be in our neighborhood. Their association's zone was a whole different neighborhood. So what is a working mother of 2 small children to do while her husband is off at work and she's off for the summer? She goes door to door with pamphlets. Me and my sibling in a stroller as she weaves her way through the neighborhood blocks, pamphlets explaining the situation and how to stop paying for services you'll never get. Pamphlets that are, of course, written in both English and Spanish to account for the high amount of Latino and Hispanic people in our neighborhood. And naturally, she got a lawyer. And an accountant. It put a major dent in her pocket, but if it meant the entire neighborhood wasn't exploited for money each month, it was worth every penny. Another Hoa member helped her sift through the documents and data and pass out pamphlets and encourage people to show up to the meetings, but had to back out because of work-related reasons. My mom rolled up to the courthouse flanked by the lawyer and accountant, her kids safe at home with her husband, and had more than enough evidence to get the homeowners association the fuck out of her neighborhood, expose the fraudsters for the frauds they were, and make sure that no Hoa would ever push their luck in our neighborhood. It's been almost 19 years, and no one's even tried making another homeowners association in our neighborhood. TLDR, when dealing with a worse than useless homeowners association, get deep in the financials and lawyer the fuck up. Want to have your cake and eat it too? 2 Timing Baby Daddy Gets His Just Desserts, by user historical_day_9518. For context, years ago I, 20F, and the father of my first 2 children, 26M, were going through a rough time in our relationship. He was working night shift as a janitor in a nursing home while I was going to college for nursing during the day. We had a 1-year-old and I had just given birth to our son 3 months earlier. There was a woman that he worked with that I had gotten to know pretty well when I would bring him his lunches. We were friends, or so I thought. He was supposed to be waxing the floors at night when no one was up and about. Just so happened my cousin ran into him and her having drinks at a local bar on one of the nights that he was supposed to be working. Came massive fight, got off early, just friends blah blah blah, won't happen again. About a month later comes the talk. We have been fighting too much, let's keep this amicable for the kids and stay friends. Mind you, the house was mine, I paid the bills with grants and scholarships I earned through school, the car he drove was mine too. I would be nice and allow him to stay till he got something figured out, still take my car to work, I still fed him all that good nonsense. Then he starts being loving and we continue a physical relationship. I happen to be feeding our son one morning while he still sleeps and his phone goes off. I know, don't look for it if you don't want to know, right? Turns out he's been carrying on a relationship with the other woman the whole time he's been with me. It would have been fine if that's what he wanted, if he wasn't doing the same with me at the same time. Petty revenge. I crawled back into bed with him, naked, and he snuggled up like he always does. I took pictures from his phone, nice and graphic ones. I sent them to her from his phone, along with a very nicely, in my opinion, worded message explaining everything that he had been up to, and into. Then I got dressed to the wonderful pings from his phone and continued about my day packing his things. He woke a few hours later and went for his phone first thing. I happened to come into the room as he's trying to call her, and when he turns to look at me I can see all the blood rush from his face. He can't even mount a defense as I tell him all about the conversation me and his new girlfriend have had, along with some photos. All his things are now out on the porch boxed up. I tell him he no longer lives in my house, and to leave. He starts to blubber about where will he go? So I told him that he better call his girlfriend to come pick him up and live with her because he sure as hell isn't using my vehicle anymore, and that sounds like his problem, and I shut the door on him. I had been with this man-child for 6 years. Given my body, heart, and sanity to this man. Hell, I was even willing to still let him live there, not paying bills, eat there, and drive my car for him to be sleeping with both of us at the same time. Was it petty? Hell yeah, but it was deserved. I don't like liars, by user Blue-Eyed Brunette. This happened 5+ years ago and it's still one of my proudest moments. I was dating this guy, Dan, going through a custody battle with his ex-girlfriend over their toddler. We worked at the same bar with this girl named Billie Jean. Billie Jean was an old friend of Dan and had worked with him before. She also had previously worked with the mother of Dan's child, Rachel, and everyone was seemingly friends and remaining civil. Or so I thought. Billie Jean had secretly taken sides and wrote a terrible affidavit lying about Dan. Dan somehow got a copy of it, I don't remember how the court process went. As I was reading it I kept getting more and more irate. I hate liars, and one thing I really feel that crosses a boundary is using a child for leverage to hurt the other parent. Billie Jean was knowingly lying under oath and siding with Rachel to prevent Dan from parenting his kid, and he was by no means a bad dad. Well, Billie Jean had enemies. Enemies that I worked with and had easy access to contact. These enemies had sold Billie Jean a car that she wasn't paying them for. I didn't necessarily like the people who owned the car, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I called them up and told them I came in peace. I asked if they had Billie Jean's address to get back their car. They did not. I passed off Billie Jean's info and waited for her to call me. Now I was one of 2 people who could have ratted out the location of the car, and when Billie Jean called me to tell me her car got repoed, she said, she had no idea who could have done it. It would have either been me, or her ex Robbie. I tell her casually, I don't think it was Robbie, and I swear up and down she responded with, well, who would have done it then? I held back laughter and finished the conversation with half-assed I don't know, that's so weird type comments until she hung up. Dan was next to me in the car snickering. Dan won shared custody of his child and Billie Jean lost her bar job because she didn't have transportation to work an hour away. To this day I wonder if she ever pieced together that it was me. I don't like liars.